In this week's Stamp TV project, I'm going to show you how to create a beautiful, clean and simple card with a delicate accent using my brand new favorite tool, the Scor-Buddy. Now, if you haven't had an opportunity to see a Scor-Buddy, let me show you a few of the features that make it a great addition to your stamping tools. The Scor-Buddy comes in this great case, which is perfect for traveling. And when you unzip it, out pops this adorable little scor-pal. Now, you can see how close all of the lines are together, and you've got a couple different dimensions, but you've got some great thin, close together grids for a lot of the more delicate embossing and folding that you might want to do. It also has a little star right here at the 4 1/4 mark to make perfect standard A2 cards, and very easy to find that mark. I'm going to start with a piece of 8.5 by 5.5 Gina K Designs Pure Luxury Heavy Base Weight cardstock. Now, I've heard through the grapevine that some people have a problem getting a good crisp edge when they're folding this cardstock, and I want to show you just how crisp of an edge you can get when you score the cardstock first. So I'm going to use that little star mark because I want this to be folded in half, an A2 card. And I'm just going to slip my tool right into that grid, and I'm going to just pull down. And I'm going to do it twice. Now, when I fold the card, I'm folding away from the indentation that I just created, and then using the end of the tool, I'm just going to rub that down the end. Here's a close-up view of the fold that was scored, and you can see there's no cracking anywhere along the edge, no cracking anywhere along this edge, and it's a perfectly scored card. And when I open it up inside, you can see that inside, that is where the bump is. So if you're folding it correctly, you're folding away from the bump, and the bump will be on the inside of the card. Another great feature of the Scor-Buddy is that Diana Crick put two little dots, one here and one here at the top. And if you use a regular 8.5 by 5.5 piece of cardstock and you score right on those dots, you get a perfect gatefold card. So I'm going to show you what that is. There's one, and here's the other. And then when you fold those away from those score lines, you get a card that meets perfectly in the center for gatefold cards. In today's project, I'm going to create a clean and simple card that has a delicate scored accent around the perimeter. And I'm going to show you how I did that. To start, I have a piece of 4" by 4" square Gina K Designs Pure Luxury Heavy Base Weight White cardstock. And I'm going to begin by making my first score line at 1 inch. And I'm going to run the scoring tool down twice just to make sure I get a deep impression. Now, you won't have to do that on thinner weight cardstocks, but on heavier base weight cardstocks, it's a good idea to give it a second score because you really get a nice defined line. So I'm going to do that one at 1 inch, and then I'm going to do the line next to it and the line next to that. Then I'm going to turn the piece of cardstock a 1/4 turn, and I'm going to turn my Scor-Buddy because, you don't have to work at that same angle all the time if it's uncomfortable to hold the paper. And I'm going to start at this 1/2 inch line. In fact, what I'll do is, to start, to make sure I have a great view, I'll do my first line at 1/2 inch. And then I'll turn it so I can get in there a little bit closer. And I'm going to do the next two lines after that. There we go. Now I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to turn it to the other side, and starting at a 1/2 inch, do my first mark. And I could keep going, or if I wanted to, I can turn it if it's a little bit more convenient, and do the next two lines. And now I'm going to turn the cardstock one more quarter turn, and starting at the 1/2 inch mark, I'm going to do the last 3 lines. So now, when I turn this over, you can see I've created this delicate accent that goes around the perimeter, and they meet in the corners perfectly. And then for this bottom one, you can see I've left a bigger space right here to stamp my greeting. My next step is to stamp the greeting and my focal image. And I'm going to do that using some of the stamps from the Enjoy the Sunshine Stamp TV stamp set and some Tim Holtz Distress ink in Black Soot. I really love this ink because it gives you a really nice soft black, but it's solid. It's great solid image. Now, to make sure that I line this up correctly, I've created the imaging sheet using the Stamp-A-Majig so that I can get a nice straight greeting exactly where I want it. And you can see what I've done here. I've put my greeting on one side of the block, and I've put my image on the other side of the block. And I do that a lot if I'm mass producing cards and I've set them up on the Stamp-A-Majig. I can just go back and forth between them. All right, I'm going to ink up the greeting. And stamp the greeting. And there you can see, perfectly centered right in the box that I've created with the ScorBuddy. Now, I'm going to take that off and stamp my focal image. And I'm going to ink that up using the same Black Soot ink. And I'm going to stamp that freehand right in the center of that box. You can see I have a nice solid black image. And here's my finished card project. As you can see, all I've done was taken a piece of black cardstock and created a square card base and just popped that focal image right on top. Now, before we finish today, I want to show you one more great feature of the new ScorBuddy. Now, if you're like me and you use brads and eyelets, they probably get all over your desk and they're hard to contain. So I want to show you what Diana Crick from Scor-Pal built into the ScorBuddy. Underneath here, there's a little magnet. And so when you're working with brads and eyelets, you can pop them right into that spot, right onto that spot of your ScorBuddy. And they're not going anywhere because that's magnetic. That's a great feature to have. Creating scored accents around the perimeter of your cards can certainly be achieved with the regular ScorPal, but the close proximity between score grooves on the ScorBuddy allows you to achieve multiple thin score lines without having to move your cardstock. And its small, compact footprint takes up less space on your stamping desk and allows for easy transport for all of your stamping on the go.